Today's Ask Me Anything goes out to Rod Sculpture, who says, I have a question. I have a Boston Terrier. He is 1 year old, and I'm trying to train him to be in my side at my side at heel command. Okay, so we've got a little semantics here on spelling and stuff like that, but I'm going to go through it. He's doing fine, not at 100%, but maybe at 50%, which, by the way, fantastic. You're doing great if he's at 50%. The thing is, if he sees children next to him, he's going to get out of control and start sniffing and kicking. I don't know why dogs, I don't think he's kicking, unless you're trying to train a horse. And he pulled the leash very hard like he wanted to jump on the people. What can I do to correct this bad behavior? Thanks. Okay, well, that's an excellent question. So, first of all, if you have him at 50%, what you need to do is you need to continue whatever training you've done. Because right now, you're dealing with a 1 year old dog, so he's trying to figure out what he can and what he can't get away with. So you need to teach him what he can and can't get away with, and he can't get away with pulling away and stuff like that. So what you'll do is, whether you're using a treat or whatever to lure him, you'll continue to do that. And the minute he breaks and tries to do something that's disobedient, you're going to give him a pop on a leash and correct him. Tell him, hey, no, knock it off, and get him back paying attention to you, and then continue the behavior. So we're at this phase, what happens, where you are, is you're in the phase where you need to inject corrections into the training of the dog so that the dog understands what he can and what he can't get away with. You've done a very fantastic job. The fact that at 50% he's with you, now you're entering the realm of distractions, which is where positive only training falls apart, because there is no repercussion. There's no downside for the dog. You're just going to keep waiting for the dog to get into proper position, and he ain't going to do it. It's just not going to happen. His drives are kicking in. These are natural predatory drives of the dog, which is what we call prey drive, where the dog wants to play and chase and bite and do all those things. To curb that, we need corrections and structure, and that's what we do in balanced training. We give the dog the option to acquiesce to me, or we give the dog the option to go and do what he wants to do, where he's going to get a correction for doing the wrong thing. The corrections are one of the most important things you will enter into with the dog to cement the relationship with the dog. A dog trained without corrections is a dog that's not going to have the most solid relationship with his owner, because he's not going to understand the structure and the fact that the owner is in control and can get the dog to do what they don't want to do. Remember, dogs want to be with us, and they want the structure that they're going to get from being with us. So, add some corrections, put a collar on the dog, give a tug on the leash when he pulls against, go, hey, knock it off. Give him a good firm correction, and when he complies, give him a huge reward, and you're going to have a really happy dog. My dog will stay like that. I can tease her with a ball and other distractions, but as soon as my cat walks by, dog takes off after the cat. I call her to come back, and she does come back. Not sure how to correct that behavior. I do not want to deter her from coming back to me. And that's a very, very good question, Joe. And no, you don't want to deter her from coming back to you. So what you don't ever want to do is you don't want to punish her once she has done the mistake. And that's kind of where a lot of this falls apart with people when they do proofing exercise on a dog, because the proofing on the dog is taking into account the dog's natural prey drive. The natural prey drive of every dog that has prey drive, which they all do to a degree, some of it's been bred out, but the natural prey drive of the dog is to smell or hear or sight something, right? Then the desire is to chase that object, bite it, kill it, and eat it. That's the natural desire. When a cat goes by, that is a natural prey for the predator, which is the dog. You must correct the dog on the act of leaving the place. So if you tell your dog to sit and stay on, let's say use a carpet square, and the cat walks by, the dog should be on a long line, must be on some kind of a line that you can correct the dog for the action of breaking the stay, not for running around and coming back to you. Because that once you start to do that, then the dog's going to play keep away and you're never going to get the dog back. The second the dog moves, if the dog is in a down and he sees the cat and he flinches to look, you correct that. You tell the dog, no, he's not allowed to do that. You start to introduce this distraction at a distance. I don't know, if this is a cat you know, or a cat you own, or a cat somebody you know owns. But you must protect the cat too. If not, the Humane Society of Peter's going to come down on me for all this stuff. But you must, and just by the way, it's the right thing to do. Cats deserve to live too. You should not endanger the cat. But you must teach your dog he's not allowed to chase the cat. But that starts with breaking the stay command. So if you can have him stay with a ball, maybe what you need to do is start throwing the ball or start finding something else that will trigger the dog's prey drive. And get the dog to understand that the minute he breaks that, have him on a long line, big pop, correction, hey, no, back to that place, and then introduce the distraction again. You want to have a distraction that you can reintroduce over and over again to start to proof the dog. I mean, there was one time where at the IPO club I was training at, a rooster just showed up on the field, and we used that rooster for the entire night. Nothing happened to the rooster, by the way. I got the rooster a good home. The dogs had to be neutral to the rooster, and we were able to do it because we already had solid obedience. So if you already have solid obedience, you're halfway there. You must get the dog to understand he's not allowed to break. The chasing part comes afterward. If you're correcting the dog for chasing, you're correcting the dog for the second behavior. The first behavior, and I'm saying wrong behavior, is that the dog is breaking the stay, and that's what you got to fix. Get on that, and you'll have a nice, well-trained dog's name, because the question is really silly, borderline stupid. I don't even know if I should answer it. I don't even know if I should read it. But here goes. What do people mean, quote unquote, give the dog a job to do? Meaning training? Question mark. Or strap a harness and have him plow the fields? Oxen plow fields. Dogs don't plow fields. So that's very naive, stupid, ignorant. A job to do, just like when I say, dogs are working animals. Well, they're not bankers, right? They're not ditch diggers, they're not police officers. Well, some are police officers. But give the dog a job to do, and I hope you're being serious if you're not just spinning my wheels on this, means the dog should have a task at hand. In other words, before I feed my dog, I make him sit, I make him lie down, I make him look at me. Right? When I'm walking on a leash, when I'm walking my dog on a leash, I tell the dog to focus. I'm going to tell him to sit when we get to a curb. I can tell him to retrieve something, right? I can start teaching my dog agility or obedience or nose work or dock diving. These are jobs that the dog, or tasks the dog performs. That's kind of like a job, right? Like you go to work, I hope, and you earn a living. Your dog does a task and he earns your love, your affection, and food. That's what they mean a job to do. It's not literal. Don't anthropomorphize the dog, and don't hook your dog up to a plow and have him plow your field. Not good. Got a question? Ask me anything.